Jesus Christ. Hello everybody, and welcome back to chapter 16 of my Creepypasta story. Thank you guys. I hope you guys are enjoying, and let's try our best to get into it, because I think it's a long one. The picture above doesn't belong to me. Original owners, all rights to original owners. Oh, sorry. One such time when Crystal was trying to walk one of her customers' dogs, she got visited. Crystal was trying her best to walk Mr. Harry Truman's, Mr. Harry Truman from the library's dog, but it wasn't going very well at all. The poor thing was restless and kept whining, and it just couldn't pick a direction to walk. Crystal had stopped to calm the poor thing down and was trying to keep hold of it. She was in the park again, but it was in the middle of a hot day, so she tried not to be too worried about it. She was trying to think of some way to calm the dog down, to get the dog to walking done while still keeping the animal calm. He seemed to really want to go near the woods, so maybe she'd let him walk near there for a little bit. He might feel better. Crystal knew why the dog was acting up, but still had to do her job. Maybe she could still do it and keep them both safe at the same time. She would at least try it, or she could lose her job and not get paid, or get another job ever again. So Crystal started down the path that led into the woods, but trailed off the path. And just walked the edges of the forest, not going in. The dog seemed to calm down a little bit, but was still trying to pull away from her grasping hands. The dog had even started to go to the bathroom on some trees. Just when it seemed that he had calmed down completely, his head shot up. The hair on his back stood on ends. As he looked at something in the woods, the dog began growling and baring his teeth as he backed away from something. Crystal still couldn't see. Crystal tried to remain calm and started to back away herself, trying to pull the dog back away with her. Crystal looked into the forest, not seeing anything, but as she tried to pull the growling dog back and continue scanning the woods, a figure emerged from behind the trees. It just stood there staring at her. He was too far away for her to tell, but she could tell from the big size and shoulders it was a man. Crystal froze up, not knowing what to do. As she did, the figure started walking forward out of the woods towards her. As it did, another figure emerged from behind another tree further back and started walking towards her as well. She was now really freaked out. Tried to get her legs to move, but it wasn't going well. She had to pull the angry dog with her too, so she didn't get anywhere. Before she knew it, the figure was coming out of the woods and was standing right in front of her, now fully in the light. Crystal could only stare, frozen in place. The man was wearing a mask that was white and had black rimmed eyes and black feminine lips, which gave him a blank, unreadable look. He was also wearing a big, puffy, light brown orange jacket with a hoodie, which added to his already threatening size. He was also wearing a dark, dirty pair of jeans and a pair of hiker boots. Despite his upper body seemed being impressive, his lower was much small and more in a lean way. That told you he was fast. He was strong, but limber. That just meant that if you could be, it would catch you, and you wouldn't be getting away anytime soon. He just stood there looking at her for a moment, completely ignoring the growling dog, waited, not knowing. Crystal just waited, not knowing whether or not to run or speak. As she did, the other figure had come to stop near the tree, just behind the man, but he did not come fully out in the light. He stayed on the edge of the forest of the woods, not entirely hidden, but Crystal couldn't really see him. She knew he was a man too, just smaller. He was also wearing a mask, but black with red face lines. He was wearing a bright orange hoodie that was pulled up, so he was completely covered up. He had his hands in his pocket and was just standing back there as though waiting for the masked man to give man's actions. Finally, the man in white and black mask spoke. "So, you're the one that has captured our little Zacky's heart," he said. "So you're the one that has captured our little Zacky's heart." His voice was muffled but audible and kind of mocking, and a matter of fact. "I was wondering what took him so long to find at least one girl to play with. I'm just glad he's not totally stuck in the mud as we thought he was, after all." Crystal was still struggling what to do and say anything. The dog was still growling, but at least now it was in front of her, rubbing against her leg, to her, closer to her than the actual danger. But the only thing she managed to shakily say is, "You know Zack?" "Well, of course," the masked man chuckled. "I'm his superior in a sense. Me, Hoodie, and that little shitter Toby are the top Slenderman top proxy, so we're here to train. So we help train all in just about every proxy Slenderman has. So of course that includes little old Zack. You could say we're what all the proxies strive for. The three of us are Slendy's favorites. Didn't Zack tell you that?" Crystal shook her head. "No, I don't think he ever got around to it. I don't think he ever really got around to it," she said shakily, nervously, cordially. "Oh, well, that's all right. Now you know, and that's all that matters." He turned to look at the dog. "That's getting old. Hoodie!" the other man called out from behind the thing and out of the woods. And the other man came out of from behind the trees and out of the woods and went straight to the dog. He pointed his hand at the dog, and in a truly deep voice, he said, "Heel." In an instant, the dog stopped growling and stopped whining, and then curled up and laid down at Crystal's feet, completely calm. Crystal was stunned and scared out of her mind now. If these men could do that, then what could they do to her? But she had to try best to remain calm and sane. The other man, Hoodie, went back into the woods to just stand where he was before, and the white masked man clapped his hands together. "There we go," he said. "Now that that's out of the way, allow me to give a better introduction now. I am Masky, Slenderman's top proxy, and then there's Hoodie to my right, and my second. And then there's Hoodie, my second and my right-hand man, and Slenderman's other favorites. Well, Toby is off doing something entirely pointless as usual. You might or might not see him in the future. And you are, Crystal," she told. "Zack's girl." She almost slipped up and said his assistant, but stopped herself in time. "Oh yeah, I heard about him wanting you to be his own personal proxy, but that didn't work out. But that didn't work," Masky said, surprising her. "But I'm glad Zack decided to keep you around to make you his girl. It would have been a shame if he hadn't. I mean, such a waste," Masky said, looking her up and down through his mask. Crystal tried not to fidget, but he was starting to make her uncomfortable. "Take it easy there, Masky." Take it easy there, Masky," Hoodie told Masky sternly. His voice wasn't as deep anymore. "She's just a girl, and this is still all new to her. Be kind." Masky turned to look at him. Of course, Hoodie, of course. You know me, I'm just playing around. No hard feelings." He turned back to her and tilted his head questioningly. Crystal quickly nodded her head as if not to make him mad. "We'll be seeing you around, okay? We were just checking in for today, okay? Sorry. We'll be seeing you around," he told Crystal. We were just checking in for today, okay?" Straightened up and shaked his light a little bit. We felt like it was time that you got to know us, just in case you should have need of something, or if it were ever need us to deliver a message or something, you should at least know who we are, at least. Seemed only fair, now with you being his girlfriend and all. Crystal still shaking a little bit, trying to pull herself together. She managed to be successful, only slightly successful, and she did manage to weak, thank you." "Oh, you're welcome." "Oh, you're welcome." His tone bordering on sarcasm, but flattery. "Oh, and if I may have a word of warning, if you don't mind," he asked, consenting. "Just because we accept that you're Zack's girl doesn't mean that the others will too. So just know that some people might not like or be acceptable of you two. So you're gonna need to be strong enough to survive. And be tough enough to stand on your own ground, okay?" Crystal couldn't reply. She could only stare. You have a good day now, okay?" Maisky said, before walking off back into the woods. Crystal just stood there, but Hoodie spoke, knocking her out of her frozen state. "It's okay, Crystal. It will all work out. Zack's a good guy, and we really are happy for both of you." His voice was much kinder now almost friendly. It wasn't deep anymore either, just a normal boy's voice, which was comforting to her. She managed to smile at him. "Thank you, Mr. Hoodie." Hoodie nodded at her and then turned and disappeared into the woods after Masky. A moment later. Just a free moment later, Crystal just stood there with a calm dog, wondering what happened. How was she supposed to feel about what had just transpired just now? What was she going to tell Zach? What was that Masky was talking about with the others not accepting her and her needing to be strong enough? Once again, Crystal found herself asking what she should do and what she had gotten herself into once again. And that's the end of that chapter. Thank you guys so much. I had meant to put Toby in there and all, but when I read it, it got too because I wanted I wanted Toby to come out of there as well, but I didn't know how to write that in. And it kind of, the way that it had it was like him being a little bit more threatening than charming, and I didn't want that, so I ended up just not writing that part in. I ended up just deleting that part, because it had where they were all there, but I was like, I'll get him later. So if you're wondering why Toby wasn't there, it was because, well, I just decided to have him off somewhere, and then have him pop up again later somewhere in the story, and have him be a lot more friendlier, rather than just threatening her, and being mean, coming at her with the axe and everything and scaring her. And also, I kind of wanted Masky to kind of be the hard ass and the kind of jerk and everything else like he kind of has in this story. So, if you guys are just wondering. So he'll probably pop up later in the story. If nothing else, he'll pop up in the future chapters. So, but not anytime soon. But anyway, I hope you guys are enjoying it. Like I said, please check out the story if you guys are liking it. And thank you guys so much. I'll see you in the next one.